Back in the year of 2015, Activision announced that it would be creating a cinematic universe based on the Call of Duty franchise. Up until that point, we never had a full-length feature film. It was only short films that were done by fans. One that comes to my mind immediately is Operation Kingfish. This was an incredible fan-made film. The actors were on point when it came to Captain Price, Commander Shepard, Ghost, Soap. They all looked like they came right out of the video game. You know, a couple discrepancies here and there, but it was a fan-made film, and I think they did an incredible job. That will be linked in the description below if you'd like to check it out. But the official movie hasn't really been talked about. We really haven't gotten any updates about it since 2015. It was first announced. I think the last time we officially heard about it was in 2020 in an interview that Stefano Sollima did. He is, of course, the director and writer. He wrote this alongside Joker's Scott Silver. It was definitely an interesting interview. It was conducted by the Italian entertainment outlet Bad Taste, and this is what Stefano had to say during that interview. It will be linked in the description below. Well, the Call of Duty film has remained a bit like this. We wrote the script with Scott Silver, which is who wrote Joker. And let's say that the idea of expanding the universe, the world of Call of Duty to film, it is no longer at the moment an industrial priority to the group of Activision. So trivially, it has stood still, which happens quite frequently there in America. It also doesn't help that right around this time of the interview, the entire world was kind of shutting down and like movie sets were getting shut down and there was a delay on pretty much everything. I'm sure that played a role, but you gotta think, 2015, the movie was originally supposed to release in 2018, 2019. Maybe at that point they had already knew they were going to be rebooting Modern Warfare in 2019, so they thought, let's hold off for a little bit. We can reintroduce Modern Warfare and then we can reintroduce this movie. And I think that's what's currently happening. So you may have noticed in the thumbnail, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The current rumor is that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to be playing one of the starring roles, if not the starring role, in a new Call of Duty movie, which I would assume is the same movie that's been worked on since 2015, probably with the same script and maybe moved around a little bit. But then again, this is currently just the rumor, but this is what The Rock had to say over on his interview with Men's Journal. I can't tell you which game in particular we're doing, but there will be an announcement this year. We're going to bring one of the biggest, most badass games to the screen, one that I've played for years. I'm really excited to bring it to fans around the world. So this interview from Men's Journal came out a couple of weeks ago, earlier in January, and it was definitely puzzling because many of us thought, well, maybe they're doing a Fortnite movie. That makes sense considering they could go all CGI. We already know that The Rock had been integrated into the universe of Fortnite already, so he could technically play himself in real life on the big screen, or it could be CGI. It doesn't really matter at that point. But then most of us started to think, well, Call of Duty, like we haven't really had that Call of Duty movie come out. It's been since 2015. And just this morning, actually, there was a report that came out by website Giant Frickin' Robot saying that their trusted news source, someone that's close within the movie industry, stated that The Rock is currently in talks to be part of the Call of Duty movie. This source went on to mention that there's nothing currently set in stone and it's just conversation happening, but I would beg to differ. During the Men's Journal interview, he made it seem like it's pretty set in stone, like talking about announcing it later this year. That seems kind of strange that he would even say that if there's nothing set in stone. But anyway, a Call of Duty movie does make sense, and we know that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has played very similar parts over the years, so he would be a perfect fit to this particular universe. So that's the update to the Call of Duty movie. I'm sure we'll learn more about it at some point throughout the year. Maybe we'll start to get teasers and trailers, and if The Rock actually is part of it, then maybe he's playing a smaller role as opposed to a bigger role, because if they're planning on releasing a trailer, wouldn't that mean he'd have to be part of this production from near the beginning? I don't really know how the movie industry works. Like, I'm really confused how that's all going to come together. But anyway, the point is, the Call of Duty movie's not dead like we all thought originally. It's still there, and it's going to be happening at some point during this year. We're going to get a trailer. The second thing I'd like to talk about in this video, we got some breaking news. Sony has announced officially today that it is buying Bungie, the maker of Destiny, the original creators of the Halo franchise. Bungie was what put Xbox on the map. I mean, if you remember back in the day, it's now part of the PlayStation Studios. which is kind of weird to say, but we saw, you know, the Activision acquisition from Microsoft it was close to $70 billion. This purchase today coming from PlayStation is coming in around $3.6 billion to acquire Bungie. I just want to say this. It is incredibly weird that we have Microsoft purchasing these classic iconic games from PlayStation like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon via their Activision acquisition. And now we have Sony taking Bungie, and some may argue that Bungie made Xbox what it is today because of the original Halo franchise. 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach. And of course, now they're out there doing Destiny and Destiny 2, which I would say was a pretty big turnaround compared to what it had been a couple of years ago. I just want to say that I know Bungie doesn't own Halo anymore. It's just the idea of this happening is just so strange. So thankfully, just a few minutes after this news broke, the team at Bungie did put out a statement mentioning everything that's going to change, which is nothing. That's good. So if you play Destiny on the Xbox or on the PC, you don't have to worry about anything changing. They mentioned that they remain in charge of our destiny. We will continue to independently publish and creatively develop our games. We will continue to drive one unified Bungie community. Our games will continue to be where our community is, wherever they choose to play. With Sony Interactive Entertainment support, the most immediate change you will see is an acceleration in hiring talent across the entire studio to support our ambitious vision. If this speaks to you and you want to help us dent the universe, then they're hiring. So they're looking for Destiny help and New Worlds Beyond. The question is, what does that mean for the New Worlds Beyond, right? Like, they still remain in charge of their Destiny, but does that mean the current Destiny, right? Does that mean the first Destiny and the second Destiny? What does that mean for Destiny 3, if that ever comes to fruition at some point in the future? Does that mean that it's only going to be available on PlayStation? It's entirely possible at that point that it would be. It's also entirely possible we see Call of Duty go Xbox exclusive, PC exclusive in 2024, because we don't know what's happening at that point. But maybe this is a way for Sony to fire back and basically be like, hey, if you do not give us our Call of Duty, we will not give you your Destiny. At the end of the day, I'm really hoping that they don't do that. I'm really hoping that these games stay wherever you want to play, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, or PC. I'm really hoping that they continue to create these games in a way where we can all play together in unison. I really like the fact that you can choose to play wherever you want and still be able to play with your friends, even if they decided to go PlayStation or Xbox or PC. Just some final thoughts that I have about this particular acquisition. It's really weird to me. When they inevitably broke away from Activision, it was a big celebration. It gave them the freedom to basically do whatever they wanted to, and they didn't have to really bend to any publisher's whim. They could just go and do whatever they wanted. But now that they're kind of getting back together with another publisher, that being PlayStation, that to me is just boggling. And it gets even more strange when you realize Bungie had just left Activision back in 2019, so it hasn't been that long that they've been independent. It hasn't been long enough for them to put out an entirely new game. They've still worked on Destiny 2, and they've made a lot of changes there, obviously, but they haven't done anything new on their own. So that makes me wonder if the company itself was in a bad position with how Destiny currently is, and they needed that cash flow to continue working on unannounced projects. They needed that additional support and additional employees to continue working on it, and with the cash that Sony has, it's really a no-brainer. So that's probably really what went down, but who knows? We're never gonna know. It's just up in the air at this point. Let me know what y'all think about this information down below in the comments section. And of course, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed the conversation. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe. I upload every single day, and I will catch you all on the next video. Peace.